Adeyemi, and I'm so excited to welcome you to another episode of the Women's Shelter on Melody 100.7 FM. This is a space where we talk about everything that has to do with women development. I say that on this show, we create a safe space for women, and we also use the platform to inspire, to empower, and to educate women. It's a pro-woman show. That's all we do. We bring to you anything that can enhance the life of the average woman out there. Thank you so much for joining us every Wednesday to do this show together. Today, we are going to do something slightly different in the sense that we just want to join a conversation that's been trending on the Nigerian social media space. So it's not a regular show we are having today. It's just something I'll call her own way of empowering the women out there intellectually, because sometimes when conversations like the one we want to talk about today comes up, women are at a loss as to how to join the conversation. And what am I talking about? In the past few weeks, the Nigerian social media space has been riddled with talks about a legendary singer. Yeah, I'll call her a legendary singer because she has actually done so many songs that inspire women not only in Nigeria but also in the world at large. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Simi. Yes, a very talented singer, and she's been in the middle of social media storm. That's in quotes now, social media storm. And this can be attributed to a stance that she took as regards a false rape alarm that a lady called Mirabel sounded on social media. So let me just give us a little context into what we are discussing today. In the past few days, Nigeria singer Simi has been trending across X, formerly known as Twitter, and TikTok, after an old social media posts, a series of them actually, from over a decade ago, resurfaced. These were posts she made while helping at her mother's daycare. Some social media users interpreted parts of those posts as inappropriate, particularly a comment involving a 4-year-old boy. What makes this more complex is that this resurfacing happened shortly after Simi publicly spoke against rape culture and sexual violence. Public opinion has since been divided. In fact, NAPTIP has stated it will investigate credible claims. Simi has responded, saying the tweets were taken out of context and reaffirming a opposition to sexual violence. So today on the show, we are not here to judge. We are not here to say that Simi was right or wrong. But then, like I said, we are here to empower ourselves intellectually, because the conversation we're having has to do with how do you handle situations like this? I mean, as a female public figure, because this is the women's shelter. And like I said, it's all about the development of women. We talk about anything that can empower the women folk. So we're not going to judge on this show, and we promise to be as transparent as possible. So we are here to think together. We're going to have honest conversation. I hope so. So our topic, we're talking about, we're going to be discussing women, influence, and online accountability. Let me say it once again. Women, influence, and online accountability. I didn't read that well. Let me read it again. Women, influence, and online accountability. So we're looking at 3 variables. Women, 2, violence, influence rather, and 3, online accountability. And then navigating social media norms. That's the topic we're looking at today. In a bit, I'm going to introduce my guest, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself. Omoteniola, that's the name of my guest. Her name is Omoteniola Alafe. She's a brilliant woman, someone I know very well. She's a writer, a researcher, and a digital entrepreneur, someone who is passionate about telling honest stories about womanhood, ambition, faith, and resilience. So joining me today once again is Omoteniola Alafe. And at this juncture, I'm just going to say, welcome to the Women's Shelter.
Thank you very much, Oluwatoyin. I'm happy to be here. And good afternoon to all our viewers and listeners. We hope that you listen to this with an open mind.
Yeah, that's it.
You share your opinions with us when we get to that stage.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Omoteniola, let's start here. And I think this is the best way I can start this conversation today. You know, when something someone posted, say like 10 years ago, or even 15 years ago, resurfaces, you know, and it becomes a national conversation. What does that say about the world that we live in today? Because we have seen an instance where Simi had made those tweets that are coming up like 10 years ago, you know, because she said she was like
24, 23?
23
Even
years.
more than 10 years
23
ago.
years. More than 10 years ago. So now, because she has said that rape is bad, stop raping our women. And, you know, it's just sad that the conversation she joined was not even honest one, because now we know that the lady lied, like the Mirabel lady that came out to say that she was, you know, molested and all. Now the lady had even debunked the story to say that, oh, she was lying, that probably she was high on a substance, she was hallucinating, or, you know, blah 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 blah. So that's just to just give a little background into why she even, you know, said what she has said in the first instance. But now they have digged up those tweets, and everywhere it's in quotes now, gbasgbos on social media, crucify her, you know. We're still going to go into the rudiments of what happened, but then I'm saying, what does that even tell us about the world that we live in today?
Well, I think the first thing it tells us about the world we live in today is that digital footprints is a very real and important thing. Gone are the days when we say, oh, social media is not real life, or my opinions on social media are different for who I am in real life. It is clear now that people will take you at face value.
I think she even said somewhere that I'm 90% of whatever I post.
99% of whatever I post. Yes, people will take you at face value based on what you post on social media, even if it was 50 years ago. Nobody wants to hear, oh, I've grown past that, or I'm no longer that person. You know, and once you post something on social media, you are opening yourself up to interpretations from millions of people, if not more. And not everybody will see it the same way. So you have to make sure that whatever you are posting, it cannot in any context be interpreted in the wrong way. And in case it is, you have to put out a statement clearly, making it known that this is not what I meant. This is what I meant. So as per digging, I think it was witch hunting.
Okay. In this situation,
people were dissatisfied with the way she handled the Mirabel matter, decided to go and look for something to discredit her. And unfortunately, they found something controversial enough to at least rouse people's attention and, you know, keep emotions high and all of that, which was very unfortunate, because Simi has always been on the positive side of things. She has always fought for women's rights. She has always advocated against rape. She has always advocated for, you know, a better society, even from her music. And it's just unfortunate that this was found.
is caught in this
Yeah, she's
situation.
caught in this situation.
Thank you very much.
Let me, okay, yeah. Okay.
We'll still
Okay.
go into the details of
Okay.
what we are discussing, but then that's just to serve as the introduction. So, would you say that Simi she shouldn't have said anything? Like, maybe she should have just kept silent. Like, when the whole Mirabelle thing came up, like, maybe she should just have overlooked it. Like, I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like, there are many
yeah.
celebrities in Nigeria. I'm not even talking about female or male
Yes.
now. Like, a lot of them didn't say anything
Yes.
when the whole thing started. I think it started from Very Dark Man's page. You know, I was even one of the very first people to see that post rather.
Yes.
You know, when he brought up the video of the girl. I think the girl posted on TikTok and he brought it to Instagram. You know, the way he would just play a video and then comment after it. So, did you think that Simi should have just kept silent, not say anything?
No, I don't think she should have kept silent because part of Simi's brand has always been advocating for women. She has always advocated for women through her music, which is one that was played
The one that was,
in the beginning.
yes,
So
woman to
it's
woman.
very on brand for her to speak up at that point. And what she said is not.
It aligns with her brand.
Yes. And it was not wrong. It's not even just Simi that should have spoken up. Everybody should have spoken up. Everybody who had a platform.
They said we were too hasty, that we should have allowed more investigation to go into it before we started talking, you know. I think that was what they said.
No one knew she was
against
lying.
Everybody who actually spoke up at that time.
No one knew the lady was lying. It could have been the truth. And and you know, 2 weeks ago, on just a week before this particular incident, another woman had come to social media to actually accuse a person. This time around, there was a face to it of raping her, a model. Accused the photographer of raping her. So, and this is not an isolated incident. It has been happening. In fact, from January, I've lost count of the number of rape cases we've had on social media alone. Not to mention outside the ones that didn't come to light on social media. So I think the outrage was already high, and then Mirabelle coming just poured fuel on an already inflammatory case. So, and the way she narrated hers was so sympathetic, was so provocative that people had to speak out. That's, I mean, what's going on? What kind of society are we living in? So that's the natural reaction expected of any human being. I mean, Nigerians outside the country were making videos on this same matter. They were crying. Women were making videos in response.
Even Tacha, I saw a video where she said that women who make false rape accusations should be penalized. So it's because like you are taking away from actual victims. Because now people who should actually rally around you, immediately you come up with such stories, they are doubting in their minds that maybe this is another Mirabelle.
You know, the support Mirabelle got was beautiful to watch. If not that she was lying, people were reaching out to her. How can we help? And it's a good thing. If not that she was lying, if she was truly a victim, that would have been a positive thing. Unfortunately, the fact that she told a lie now makes it a negative thing. Now makes it seem like, oh, you were being hasty. Who waits when you hear things like that? Who waits to say, is it true? Because no one would really imagine that you would lie with something that
grave,
without something that sensitive, you know. So, and it's not like she pointed to someone. She accused someone in particular, so we can say, okay, let's wait and hear the side. She was just narrating a story where the perpetrator was not visible. We don't know who he is. The social media was locked.
You know that girl.
So
she even went to the
so she garnered a wave of pity, and that was just a human response from social media. No one has crucified anyone. We are just talking about rape. Like that was all very much in line. Until it was in line.
Okay, so she did the right thing.
Yeah, she did the right thing by speaking up
because she condemned the acts of rape. That was what she did.
That still stands. I mean, is anybody going to say it's bad for her to condemn? I mean, would you actually say it's bad? I don't understand that part. Okay. Do you want to support rape in any way, shape, or form? You know, someone has spoken about rape. She has done the Lord's work. Okay. Because she has a huge platform. Yeah.
So I think that we've been able to sufficiently deal with the aspects of she did right by speaking up against rape. So now let's take the second question before we go for a short break. Would you now say that we have judged her too harshly, like after digging up those posts? You know, normally there's another outpour of emotions, like after the, because people are saying she's that the tendencies she exhibited, like looking at those posts was something that you can tag phobic now.
Yeah.
So would you say that she has been judged too harshly, like because she's a female celebrity, or I don't know. Would you say that?
Who are the people judging her actually in the first? You see, the thing is that as a celebrity, as a public figure, you would definitely have antagonizers, people who would always seek to discredit. In fact, I'm surprised that, seeing that these tweets exist, I'm surprised that they haven't dug them out before now. Because this is not the first time people would attack Simi for a stand on certain issues on social media. So I'm surprised that they're just finding out these tweets. So which means that some people or someone was sufficiently angry enough to go back as far as 2012 to look for her tweets. And I keep saying, unfortunately, they found something. And unfortunately, people are going to judge her based on those tweets. Because she was an adult when she made those tweets.
Yeah.
And it would have been lovely if they didn't find things like that, or things that could be open to misinterpretation.
Yeah.
Okay,
I understand.
Unfortunately, they found something, and people must also respond to that, because children were involved. She mentioned children specifically in the tweets.
Yeah.
And
a 4-year-old,
a 4-year-old,
a 1-year-old at another time.
And with let's say this, she mentioned children in the context of sexual actions. So there was some sexual context to it, which is inappropriate. Now, we may say that at the time when she made those tweets, she didn't know better. The world was not a sensitive place.
Wasn't as sensitive as it is now.
There was no much awareness on pedophilia, and it was just in quote cruise. But let me bring you to mind of Ezra Olubi.
Yeah.
Who such a similar thing happened to early this year or late
But some
last
people
year.
have argued that you cannot compare what happens in both instances, because what happened with Extra was the fact that he was the tendencies he exhibited in his tweets tended towards animals. Do you understand?
Yes.
Like, which is quite strange to our culture.
Yes.
Although he said some other things, but the cat's part and all of that, know, those tendencies were quite strange. They were quite. But now Simi's own too. I like people are saying that you cannot put them side by side. Like,
no, you can.
Oh,
you
okay.
can. When I saw those tweets, independent of anybody's opinion, I was disturbed. I knew off the bat that something is wrong with these tweets. Okay. Because,
but that doesn't necessarily mean that she did.
No. I actually don't. Personally, I mean, I don't believe she molested children. I think it was just misguided
the
talk.
thought process at that time.
I think it was just misguided talk on social media at the time, and saying things you don't mean just to get attention. I don't believe she did. And even for Ezra's case too, I don't really believe
he did all of those things.
I don't believe he did all of those things. I think when people actually do things, people that do these things don't come on social media to talk about it.
And I said it at that time.
People that do these things don't come on social media to. In fact, most people that do these things are most likely to do it in secrecy. That even their family members would swear that they are not that kind of person. So I wouldn't kill someone now and come and tweet about it on social media. So people joke about these things on social media when they are bored or they're trying to gather attention. But Ezra was a very brilliant man. I mean, he found Paystack with his friend, and he was putting Nigeria on the map in a good way. So he also held a good position in society prior to all these tweets. And if you can dig back, Ezra's tweets were also dug out because of animosity against him. Those tweets were just lying there, and because some lady had issues with him, they dug out those
Which takes us to the importance of being very careful of your digital footprints. Because when the time comes, anyone would go back as far as they have to go back to see.
Prior to social media tweet, it was going to maybe getting a private investigator to go and dig out people's past. Maybe when they ran for political offices, just to go and dig out. Sometimes as far back as their grandfather, they will tell you their grandfather.
Secondary school. I remember when we were in secondary school, they came to get Ayofayoshe files that night. Yes, because he attended my secondary school. I remember that day, and they were saying that I think maybe DSS people or something, but the news was sharing in the school. We were running up and I said, it's because of Ayofayoshe they came. They said people should have good behavior, that they are looking for something against the person. Really?
You see, so some people will even come out from the past at that point and say, this person contesting for political once defrauded me. That was when there was no evidence.
I think we just have to take a break now, because so let's take a short music break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation.
The one in a billion. She a queen, she a vision. Pretty woman, beautiful woman. So fine, she causing confusion. Keep your head up, no look down. You say to yourself, you say, look at me now, you see me a bad bitch. First class baby, you know me status. Super icon, me no need to practice. Walking around, everybody watch this. When you see me coming, better powder for me. Window come for a flower for me. I'm looking at a girl in a mirror, and here's what she said to me. She said, Wonder Woman, the one in a billion. She a queen, she a vision. Pretty woman, beautiful woman. So fine, she causing confusion. Keep your head up, no look down. Say to yourself, say, sure you want cause it's something. With the way you dey move your body, fine girl, no is money.
You're welcome back to the Women's Shelter on Melody 100.7 FM. My name is Oluwatoyin Adeyemi, and with me on the show today is Alafe Teniola. And we've been discussing something that has to do with a popular female celebrity in Nigeria. And like I said when I was introducing the show today, I said that it's just a way of empowering ourselves intellectually as women. Because when some of these issues are being discussed, you realize that the inputs of women are below par. Like, it's quite unfortunate the kind of things that I've heard some women say, like their contributions so far concerning these issues, especially people that we can call the champion, of female empowerment, so to say. Nobody has said that what Simi has said is right or wrong, but there's a way to actually go about contributing or joining conversations such as this, so that we don't go like 10 years back. We must recognize the fact that we live in a patriarchal world. We're talking about Mirabel the other time. The fact that by making that false claim, she has taken away from years of advocacy that's been done for rape victims.
Absolutely.
Because now when a woman comes up and says that I'm a victim,
there's even more doubt.
There's even more doubt. People are thinking, is it another Mirabel case? Instead of coming together and just like this show says, like the women's shelter, and sheltering her and covering her up. Like, this is our sister. She should not go through this alone, which was what a lot of women tried to do. Like, okay, let's protect her.
And they thought she was very brave.
And they felt she was very brave. And that even takes me to part of what we're going to discuss as we're going on in the show. When you have issues, like especially sensitive issues like rape, is it wise to just go and set the camera? I know that at that point, victims are not in the best frame of mind. But is the next thing that someone, like the next thing that a victim is supposed to do is to just go on social media and start talking about this thing? I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yes, I understand.
I know that this lady has said that, let's even say that maybe it actually happened. That's what I'm saying now. We had confirmed that in her instance, she was lying. But let's assume that it actually happened. Is the first thing, like the reaction, is it supposed to go and set a camera?
No,
at that
not.
point. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Because I don't know what people think of social media. Like, I see it as a dark space. Like, there are beautiful people on social media, of course. I've met a lot of wonderful people on social media. But I also see it as a toxic space where we have a lot of unintelligent conversation. People are trying to make you doubt your sanity. Sometimes they're trying to make you that you can be saying the right thing, and then you can be in a comment section where everybody is saying the wrong thing. But that conversation is moving in their direction. And then the more that conversation is moving in that direction, the more people will start following that mob. And and they start trying to, the intelligent one, the one who is saying the right thing, they start trying to put the person down. So when you now go and put your sensitive issue out there on social media, and you're not going to answer that question, don't worry, we're just because it will take us away from the conversation.
I just want to mention something very important.
Yes, please do. Please do.
Most girls, even if you ask them, what do you think you would do if you are sexually assaulted?
Okay.
They have no idea, because most people believe that this would never happen to them.
Okay.
Victims, it's not something you wake up and think, oh, if I get raped today, what am I going to do? It's something that no girl, even as prevalent as it is, you don't actually believe it's going to happen to you. So usually, if it does happen, the first response is shock.
Yeah.
And I think that at this point, there needs to be deliberate education for girls that not even if you are raped, if you are sexually assaulted, if you are touched inappropriately, this is the first step. This is who you go to. Do you understand? So they understand that this is a possibility, not of rape, but even sexual assault, even verbal sexual assault, even someone trusted touching.
Can you hold that thought?
Okay.
I just want to seize this moment.
Yes.
If you are listening to us out there now, and you are a victim of rape, maybe it just happened today, or it has happened like 2 days ago, and you don't know who to reach out to.
Yes.
I'm just going to put out my phone number now. I don't run an NGO for rape victims, but this is the women's shelter, and I promise that I'm going to point you in the right direction. I would direct you to where to go, and they are going to take up that case and do the right thing for you. Ensure that the perpetrator is arrested, and that you get justice for what has happened to you. So you can actually reach out to me, Oluwatoyin Adeyemi, on 081 333 84760. So you are in that situation now, someone has raped you, and you really, your soul, your spirit wants justice. You don't know who to talk to. Please call me 081 333 84760. This program is a bridge. That's what we do. We connect you to the right resources, the right place for cases like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was very much necessary. And thank you very much. That was very much necessary. And even beyond that, schools should have response for cases like this. Sometimes people are assaulted by their guardians, people who are closest to them, unfortunately, very, very sadly. So schools should have response cases and teach their students this is what you should do.
This is the first thing.
Yes, this is the first thing, and we are going to take it very seriously. So that people don't, and even perpetrators themselves would have it, because I do think that rape has gotten to such a prevalent level because people have taken a lax action, attitude towards it in the past, where society would condemn the victims, where it's made to be seen as a lesser crime. Do you understand? Because it's not murder. I mean, I've had someone say that when she went to the police station, the policeman said, "Oh, after all, he didn't kill someone. It's not murder, it's not theft, but it's worse. It's worse than all of these things.
Something that can damage the victim emotionally.
Nobody recovers from this thing. It damages them sexually.
And every time they have to talk about it, it's like they are reliving the experience again.
So it's taking someone's innocence and future away from them, taking someone's potential, and it should be seen as that. Once we begin to see this as a very grievous crime against humanity, then that would inform the way we respond. It
should not be downplayed in any way.
It should not be downplayed in any way. So I'm happy it's getting the kind of attention it's getting, albeit some negative controversies.
All right, thank you very much. I think that question has been sufficiently dealt with, and I believe that anyone who is also in that situation would know the step to take at that point. So let's go back to a female celebrity that we're talking about.
Okay.
So now, let's even assume that a female celebrity of semi status, genuinely believes that her words were misunderstood. You understand? We are assuming that she didn't do any of those things that she was being accused of.
We want to believe
want to believe that. So, strategically speaking, what do you think should be the first response?
Okay, so I'll first address the response she gave. I don't have it written anywhere, but I remembered reading it and thought, this is too defensive.
Okay.
This is too defensive. What you should have done at that point is acknowledging that those tweets are inflammatory and can be misinterpreted.
Not just that she tweeted them, but that, yes,
they are open to those tweets are open to misinterpretation. However, this is not what I meant. Some people have deliberately misinterpreted my tweets. I am not a molester. Like, that should have been a very solid point in whatever statement the PR team should have put out, that I am not a child molester, I would never be, and I would never support pedophilia. You know, this did not happen. Like, make it very clear that you did not molest anybody. Make it extremely clear in that.
So you think that our first response made the situation worse?
Yes, because the first response came off as dismissive of people's genuine concerns. Because at the time when the tweets were put out, even people who were Simi lovers, including myself, people who genuinely loved Simi, they were concerned that this does not look good. Do you understand?
Okay.
So even if I was the one that put out those tweets 10 years ago, and someone reads them to me now, I would be like, okay, there's a problem here. But I would also, so there's a problem here, which is that people now think that she's a child molester, which she would now have to put out a very strong statement that she is not, and she's accountable for any investigations that want, because these children are alive. So if indeed she has molested any children, then investigations can be made. The daycare is still very much there, and the truth can come to light. So she should have said all of that so that people can be reassured that, let's take her word for it that this did not happen, and then address the statement that she apologizes for anyone who finds those statements offensive. It's not what she meant, and they hope, and then reiterate what she said. The only thing that I could pick from that statement was that she stood on the on her advocacy against rape. Which is why the witch hunting started in the first place. Then reiterate that at the very end, that in spite of all of this, I stand against rape in any way, shape or form, and that would have been a dignified way to respond to those tweets. But I think it was still emotional and defensive, and us saying that she would have left those tweets if not for her team, I just felt nah, this is just too defensive.
Wow. So from what you have said now, Simi's team, or because I don't even think she has a communications team. From what I saw, because if you have a good PR team or a strategic communication team, I would expect that they would even if Simi wanted to put out that kind of post, they would have censored it and let her know that no, this is not the right way to go about it.
I think they were all just concerned about let's do damage control. And sometimes it's not about damage control. It's about being actually sensitive. It's about being empathetic to people, to your fans, because these are your fans, and it's just a small, even if some people hate you or are antagonizing you, it's just a very, very tiny fraction. The majority of people actually support Simi's music, they support her work, and they are concerned about her. So that would have put their minds at rest, that then everybody would have moved on, that this was just youthful exuberance and nothing serious.
And I think that
because the tweet itself, the tweet is not the crime. The molestation would have been the crime. So the first thing, I would have thought that the first thing that
is to address those concerns, the primary
concern, which is the molestation of children. That this, let us know that this did not happen. But that was not done, and that makes me question.
Come across as strong and convincing,
very strong and decisive,
convincing enough.
It's not.
But she was not talking about the fact that our team were deleting old tweets.
The PR message sounded more like a response to haters. This is not a response to haters. This is a global message. This is something that has gone beyond the borders of Nigeria. This is something that you can be questioned. So what is
which
your
can
response?
Actually affect our brand, our global.
So I would expect a much stronger statement against child molestation from her and her team. But it was just a watered down attempt at damage control, and I think that's just sad.
I like the dimension you'd even taken it from. When we were talking earlier, I was talking about the fact that as a public figure, from a PR perspective now, like, you should not wait for crisis to happen before you manage your communication. Now what they are doing now is crisis communication. That's what our team, whoever is handling that brand, whoever is managing that brand, that's what they have to do now.
Yes.
You have to manage the crisis. But I know that in crisis management, it's something you have to have. You need to have anticipated, like, what are the likely scenarios that are likely to play out. You know, sometimes I work with politicians, and one of the things that I tell them is the fact that if you are someone who is, for instance, contesting for a public position now, you need to know that your digital footprints, like you said the other time, would be investigated. You know, because I like to think like your opponents.
Yes.
And it's because it's like you are both public figures, celebrities and politicians. They are public figures, so people are going to like try to find out, investigate, like you said, what can we use against this guy? So whoever is on Simi's communication team or whoever celebrity is should think like their enemy. Like, for instance, now if there should be a crisis situation, what are the things that people can likely use against you? So those digital footprints, do you think that maybe they should have done that long ago?
Yes,
long before. Like, check out our digital footprints. I know they are.
This is a lesson for everyone out there.
Not just celebrities.
Because
anybody can become anything.
You don't know when you can rise into fame. So I would advise our listeners, if you have to go through your social media pages, sometimes people lose access to previous social media. Unfortunately, they lose access. So they can't actually access it, but you need to get help.
But there are people who are like tech
people who are
gurus
professionals who can
that.
get that. So don't just ignore and say, in fact, personally, I would, even when you want to work with someone, organizations, even when you apply for visas, they check these things. You don't have to wait. They go back and check. You'll be surprised.
They
go back and check. Even I know people, even if you want to get married, some people actually go back to check their prospective spouse's social media, just to be sure. Just to be sure, because you'll be surprised at what you find on some people's social media pages.
You're already answering the next question.
Oh, okay.
Because we've taken it home already.
It's just a message for our listeners. Please, everybody listening, take this very seriously. Go through your social media pages.
Because you can even, maybe you don't want to contest for a public position. You can be nominated.
You can be nominated. You
say,
can be
as an ambassador.
You can be applying for anything.
And these days you see ladies on TikTok.
Yes.
Some are almost naked, saying all sorts.
Yes.
And you are wondering, are these people thinking that there's no future?
Say, if you can't afford me, if you can't, it's very funny because you are leaving these things for the world to see.
Okay. Yes. Can we just take another short music break? Yes, that's fine. We'll be back in the next few minutes.
I won't talk my mind, for anyone will feel it later. Pretty macula, sometimes it feels like success is a trap, and sometimes it feels like people don't understand. Cause the pressure plenty, and the expectations high. Even your day ones were supposed to get your back, sometimes they was the fight. And everybody has an opinion on how you supposed to live your life. And even people were supposed to show you the way, now the people they backbite. No be pride, no be ego. Sometimes I gotta change my mind, sometimes I gotta stay behind, sometimes I will have to say no. Sometimes I got someone out of my head, may this pressure no go drive me insane, no. So if you see me outside and I no greet you, no vex, back on my head in full low. I'm about you know the level. Now this something like this. Now this something like this. So can be so overwhelming sometimes. So I just try my own. I got so many things that the reason no bother me. Wọ́n ní irú pálapàla ó kàn ń wọlé lé. Kí ló ṣe tẹ́nìkan ò ṣe rí o? Ọ̀sán Family go call, enemy go call, I don't know who is who. Don't be proud, don't be people. Sometimes I just take away when I have nothing to say. Sometimes I will have.
You're welcome back to the Women's Shelter on Melody 100.7 FM. My name is Oluwatoyin Adeyemi, and my guest on today's show is Omoteniola Alafe. And together we've been looking at a very topical issue in the country right now. We're talking about a female celebrity who has been in the eye of the storm. We are not judging, like I said when we started, but we're trying to look at how situations like this can actually be handled. And we've been trying to also draw lessons from what has happened so far. Talking about digital footprints, which is something that I think that public figures don't take as seriously as they should.
Yes.
In fact, I was telling you about someone that I'm just scared that they're not just going to bring up some old posts that the person has made, at a very crucial time, So I just want us to coast home gradually, because we're almost at the end of today's show. I know you have started, you had told our listeners at home that they should just be careful of whatever it is that they put out there. So I want you to just make clear examples, okay, don't do this, don't do that. We're just talking about how to manage social media use, so that whatever it is that you had posted some times ago will not be used against you at a crucial point in your life. Yes. And then while we are doing that, I also want our people at home to join the conversation, but let me just call out the studio lines. Let's see if anybody is there and would like to join the conversation. The studio lines are 070-2520-1007, 070-2520-1007, 070-5507-1007. So what are we asking? What am I asking? Should people be judged by old posts? And do you think that the fact that someone has grown through the years, do you think it matters? And how should women in public life handle online storms? So these are some of the questions you can help us to provide answers to. We're looking at social media too. Are we even quick to cancel people on social media? So if you are there, you'd like to join the conversation from any perspective you want to join, please just call in. The lines once again, 070-2520-1007, 070-5507-1007. So while we're waiting for the calls to come in, we're talking about digital footprints now. How should our people at home, our listener at home, how should they handle their digital footprints?
Okay, first of all, the past. Let's talk about the past. Let's talk about the past first of all. Make sure you do an audit of your social media. Not just for inflammatory posts, but for any post that can be misinterpreted by a global audience. Because your social media posts are not just seen in Nigeria. It's open to anybody. Even if your pages are private, there are people who can find things, and you'll be surprised at what they can find. So as a job seeker, as a professional, as a youth who thinks that their life is going to be of any consequence at all,
you are going somewhere,
you are going somewhere
to happen.
Yes, if you are going somewhere with your life at all, please go and look back, because you would not remember these things. There are things that you've posted, youthful exuberance, photos you've posted in the wrong places, or just go through them and delete as much as you can.
What should I leave?
Yes,
what should I delete?
Yes, because I keep telling you that even when it comes to things as simple as jobs,
here's what I found.
Employers go to social media pages to go and check. Okay, yes, that actually happened with Tunde Onokoya, the chess guy.
Okay.
Someone applied for a role on his post, and he denied the person. And the person thought it was maybe because he had applied in a casual way, but he said no. And he actually now went to highlight one of his tweets about something degrading about women.
Wow.
Yes, the man had made something degrading about women, and Tunde Okoya said it's because of this post, because I don't want that kind of a person around me. And there are people who would think this way. I don't know why people keep thinking that their social media life is separate from real life. People are going to judge you based on your social media posts. There's nothing like, people say I'm a serious person, but online I know people like that who and they are telling the truth. They are very serious people offline. They are professionals, but online they do different things, and somehow they expect people to miraculously know that no, I'm a decent person. Okay, so make sure you do an audit of your social media posts. And then the second thing, that's the past, right? So the present, please, when you are in an emotional state, do not post. If you are emotionally charged, don't post at that point. Talk to God, talk to your friend, talk to a trusted friend, because because friends now record you, and then even if you are not bringing it online, friends, we've had those cases even this year, for friends recording you and then bringing it online.
They just record conversations.
Yes, they record conversations. So maybe talk to someone you trust. Or talk to a therapist if you're emotionally charged.
And I know that there are also NGOs for women, like in Ibadan now. The other time we had someone from what's this organization called? The Women Save House, something like that. They came here, and I think that's what they do. They help vulnerable women. They provide them with shelter. So if a woman is in a situation where maybe you are living with your guardian, they are orphans who are trusted with their uncles or something, and they are being molested, and they feel like there's nowhere for me to go. There are actually NGOs that take cases like that up. They provide you with shelter. In fact, if you have to go for what is it called? If you want to sue the person or something, they provide resources to do that. There are NGOs like that. But I think that's why I said that this platform is to actually make information accessible to people, especially women, to bridge that information gap where you don't feel stuck, where you don't feel stranded, where you don't feel like, oh, there's nobody to help me, there's nobody to talk to. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I'm saying that I'm going to point you in the right direction. Like I said when I started this show, that maybe you are in a domestic violence situation and you feel like I'm stuck. I don't have any family member that can help me. I don't have money to go and get accommodation or something. They're actually NGOs. They are organizations that provide shelter for people like that. And like I said, if you are being molested, maybe you are even sexually harassed at work, there are organizations. We are going to, even if it's an NGO that we don't know, we'll do research. We'll find out where you have to go. So like I said, I'll put out my phone lines at the end of the show again. Just reach out. No woman should be stranded. Like is it the 21st century again? Nobody should be stranded. You have options. There's solution for you. There's someone waiting for you to just reach out and help you. We're coming from a program today now where those people were talking about people with mental health issues. And the funniest thing, I'd always thought that there should be provision for people who cannot afford mental health to get that support, because we know that mental health is actually, like, to get such services in Nigeria is actually quite expensive, so I'd always thought about it like this thing should be made accessible for Nigerians. So I was so happy. So that's one organization there. So they are saying, if you want to talk to someone, that they have a help desk that you can call. So you don't have to go and talk to somebody who is going to, like, put all your issues private information out there one day. So there are places where you can go. And I just hope that someone that needs this information is listening right now, so that that you can reach out. You can reach out to me on 081 333 84760 081 333 84760. I'm going to point you in the right direction. You should not be stranded. There's a solution for you. There's someone who is waiting to help you. So this is that safe space. By God's grace, we'll do what we can do, and you get out of that situation. So your final words. It's been a great conversation today, but then let me just take your final words first.
So I'll just let our viewers know that influence comes with responsibility, and in a position of influence, you are open to your words are open to scrutiny.
Yeah.
They are open to all sorts of interpretations. So it is your responsibility to make sure that you don't say or do things that can
So
be
you don't have any
interpreted.
excuse.
Yes.
You cannot even say
There's
I'm
no
being
excuse,
witch hunted or something because I have said
unfortunately,
this and
yes.
that's why it's your
Unfortunately,
responsibility
It's your responsibility to
make sure that you
nothing
do
is
what you're
found.
supposed to do. You have to be accountable.
You have to be accountable.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
Because
you
we don't even
so
remember the
much.
names of people involved in this story. Even Mirabelle will be forgotten at some point. But
Has she not been forgotten
yes,
already?
but Simi is a legend.
Yes.
And, we always remember what she said and what she did. Thank you very much.
I'm so glad to have you on the show today. You know, like I put out on one of my social media pages, I said today it's going to be a sister to sister, a woman to woman conversation, and I'm glad that that's what we've had. It's an honest conversation. We're not even saying that, oh, Simi was right or Simi was wrong, but we're talking about crisis management as a woman of influence, accountability.
Yes.
How should you handle situations like this? Assuming that you have even been misconstrued or you had been taken out of context, how should you handle that kind of situation? Thank you so much, Oluwatoyin. Thank you, and I hope that when I call you another time, you would come on the show.
Of course.
So I think that we are just at that point where we have to go. We don't have any calls at the moment, but I still hope that, okay, it's almost time. We have to just get out of here at this time. So for me, today's conversation has reminded me that influence is powerful. Like once you're an influential person, no matter how little the influence you think you have is, you have to be accountable. You have to be responsible. Responsibility is not just in your actions, but also in your words, in the choice of words that you use, especially on the social media space. You have to be very, very intentional about it. You have to have a good communication team. If you have influence, you cannot behave like you are just an average person. You cannot behave like that. And even if you're an average person, always remember that you're going to, like I don't know, by luck, even if you're not intentional about your life, you can find yourself in a very big position in the future. And whatever it is that you're doing now can be used either against or in your favor, as the case may be. So the internet, remember that the internet does not forget, and that human beings grow as well. We also have to be open to that fact that people are not what they were 10 years ago. So maybe we'll just cut Simi some slack if you remember that. So accountability is very important. I've said that. And then fairness. We must be fair in whatever it is that we are saying, because we are all still going back to social media. The conversation will likely continue for a while. So whether you are a celebrity or a young woman building your future, your words online are seeds. They may grow into opportunities or storms. So let's choose wisdom. Thank you so much once again, Oluwatoyin, for joining me on the show today. And you, our listeners out there, thank you for listening to Melody 100.7 FM. My name is Oluwatoyin Adeyemi. Thank you, my studio manager. Thank you. My programs manager, Mr. Adegoke, and the general manager, Mr. Eniola Afolabi. I'll see you again next week, and you hear me again next week, Wednesday, by the grace of God. Bye for now.
So if you see me for sure and I don't greet you, no vex, Baba, my head is full of. And Baba, you know the level. That is also like
100.7 FM. Melody FM 100.7. Stay cool with Melody.
Melody 100.7 FM. Stay cool with Melody.
Àwárí àrìjìnà ọmọ Odùduwà, àwárí àrìjìnà ọmọ Odùduwà káàkiri àgbáláyé.
Ojú àsìkò tó láti ṣèrànwọ́ lóṣù ọ̀pọ̀.
Àwárí àrìjìnà ọmọ Odùduwà